What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Saturday, April 16th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 4-game slate today, NBA playoffs. So let's take a look at the point guard position. Now I think this guy's just underpriced here on this playoff slate for this playoff game. I like James Harden from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the Toronto Raptors. So James Harden is averaging 50.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 37 minutes per game with a 28% usage rate. He's projected at 52.5 fantasy points here tonight, and that's 5.7 times value. He's only 9,200 DraftKings salary, 200 less on FanDuel, so I'm not sure why he's underpriced here. James Harden in the playoffs, I can see him putting out 50 plus fantasy points. I think he should be closer to 10K on both sites. James Harden scored 48 and 41 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 38 and 39 minutes. And he scored 41, 41, and 55 fantasy points in the last 3 games versus the Raptors. But you know James Harden is going to get monster minutes here tonight in this playoff game. So I like James Harden here versus the Toronto Raptors. Okay, now here's a salary saving pick. I like Mike Conley from the Utah Jazz playing the Dallas Mavericks. And Mike Conley has averaged 29.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 29 minutes per game with a 21% usage rate. He's projected at 30.9 fantasy points here tonight, and that's 5.4 times value. He's 5,700 DraftKings salary, 500 more on FanDuel. Mike Conley scored 30 and 32 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 25 and 33 minutes. He's a veteran player. I think he's going to get his points in the playoffs. And he's at a good price point on DraftKings. There's a lot of major salary differences on DraftKings and FanDuel. So I will point out a couple of the players that are super cheap on FanDuel that I wouldn't play on DraftKings, but I absolutely would play on FanDuel. So on the flip side, when you got a guy that's cheap on DraftKings here, like Mike Conley, this is a good place to save some salary for the rest of your lineup. So I like Mike Conley here versus the Dallas Mavericks. Now, one of those players that I was just mentioning is Jordan Poole. Just take a look at this. Now, first of all, Jordan Poole from the Golden State Warriors playing the Denver Nuggets, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. They give up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing point guards. Jordan Poole has averaged 31.2 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game with a 26% usage rate. He scored 38, 37, and 44 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 28, 34, and 33 minutes. Now, he's 8,300 DraftKings salary. I just think that salary is way too high on DraftKings, but he's 2,000 less on FanDuel. So only 6,300 on FanDuel. So if I'm going to play Jordan Poole, it will be on FanDuel. Won't be playing him on DraftKings. So I like Jordan Poole on FanDuel here versus the Denver Nuggets. Okay guys, it's time to announce the winner of our $25 weekly PayPal giveaway. And the winner is Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith, congratulations. You are the winner of this week's $25 PayPal giveaway. Please reply to our comment to collect your prize. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. I like Anthony Edwards. Also eligible at the small forward position. Anthony Edwards has averaged 37.4 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 27% usage rate. He's projected at 39.9 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.3 times value. He's 7,600 DraftKings salary, 300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 236 points scored in this game, so this could be the game to stack here. And Anthony Edwards scored 43 fantasy points in his first playoff game, played 37 minutes, so I like Anthony Edwards here versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, I also like Gary Trent Jr. from the Toronto Raptors playing the Philadelphia 76ers. And Gary Trent Jr. has averaged 29.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 35 minutes per game with a 22% usage rate. He's projected at 30.9 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. He's 5,900 DraftKings salary, 300 less on FanDuel, so I like that price on both sites. Vegas thinks there's going to be 216 points scored in this game, and Gary Trent Jr. has scored 20, 36, and 45 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 30, 38, and 41 minutes. So I like Gary Trent Jr. here versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Now I also like Will Barton from the Denver Nuggets playing the Golden State Warriors. And Will Barton has averaged 29.2 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 21% usage rate. He's projected at 30.1 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. He's 5,800 DraftKings salary, and he's 600 less on FanDuel. So I like that price on both sites, but that's a great FanDuel price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 222.5 points scored in this game. And Will Barton has scored 29 and 25 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 29 and 39 minutes. So I like Will Barton here versus the Golden State Warriors. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. Looks like I gave you my small forwards, Anthony Edwards, Gary Trent Jr. Yep, that was them. So let's move on to the power forward position. I like Pascal Siakam. Here's a stud pick, and I love his DraftKings price. So Pascal Siakam from the Toronto Raptors playing the Philadelphia 76ers. He's averaged 45.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 38 minutes per game with a 26% usage rate. He's projected at 46.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. He scored 63 and 75 fantasy points the last 2 games, playing 39 and 37 minutes. So he's projected at 46.6 fantasy points here tonight. I already said that. That's 5.2 times value. He's 8,900 DraftKings salary. He's 900 more on FanDuel, so I much prefer that DraftKings price. So I like Pascal Siakam here versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Now I also like Tobias Harris from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the Toronto Raptors. Tobias Harris has averaged 33.5 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 35 minutes per game with a 22% usage rate. He's projected at 32.8 fantasy points here tonight, just about 5 times value. He's 6,700 DraftKings salary, and he's 600 less on FanDuel. Tobias Harris has scored 22, 27, and 22 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So nothing great the last 3 games. Played 23, 31, and 38 minutes. But this guy can pop off. And because of his poor performance the past few games, his ownership might be a little bit low here. So I like Tobias Harris here versus the Toronto Raptors. Okay, moving on to the center position. I love his DraftKings price. Take a look at Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets playing the Golden State Warriors. Nikola Jokic has averaged 61.3 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 32% usage rate. He's projected at 65.5 fantasy points here tonight. That's 6.2 times value. He's 10,600 DraftKings salary, 1,400 more on FanDuel. And Nikola Jokic has scored 75 and 73 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 35 and 40 minutes. So this guy, clearly, he's got monster upside. I just love his DraftKings price. He's priced up on FanDuel, but I mean, I would pay that on FanDuel as well because he can score 70 plus fantasy points and break the slate. But I do love his DraftKings price, so I like Nikola Jokic here versus the Golden State Warriors. Okay, I also like Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz playing the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know why I was thinking of the Dallas Cowboys. No idea. Rudy Gobert has averaged 41.4 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 17% usage rate. He's projected at 41.5 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. He's 8,000 DraftKings salary, same price on FanDuel. And Rudy Gobert has scored 40, 36, and 42 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 29, 33, and 26 minutes. Now, what I like about Rudy Gobert is he's just super consistent. Take a look at this guy's point log. 40, 35, 41, 52, 45, 52, 39, 39, 32. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games in a row. Now, he had one off game here where he scored 17 fantasy points in 30 minutes, but then you go back a little further, 32, 46, 53, 38, 44. So, Rudy Gobert, I honestly don't know why they don't price this guy up more. He's so consistent that you can just pencil in 40 fantasy points for Rudy Gobert here and get you over 5 times value. Then you got playoff Rudy Gobert in a good matchup here versus the Mavericks, who give up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing centers. And Rudy Gobert he's averaging 1.31 fantasy points per minute. So again, I don't know why they continue to underprice Rudy Gobert, but I will play him every single time for $8K on both sites. So I like Rudy Gobert here versus the Dallas Mavericks. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.